Um, well, there definitely been some sort of changes since the forum. Probably the biggest one is that I've switched over to maining Tracer lately.
Okay. Nice.
Um, I've found her just a little bit sort of easier to answer the question in, the heat of the moment about like what should I be doing right now,
Sure.
versus Diva, because I think for a few different reasons, both because I feel like there are sort of fewer questions to ask myself around sort of it's sort of more like there's with Diva, there's always the desire to be, or the question of like, should I be tanking? Should I be doing, defensive matrix? Like, is my team going to be okay if I take sort of a slightly longer flank?
Right.
Whereas Tracer, I feel it's easier for me to say, yes, I should be, taking a long flank, like ideally behind them and setting up behind them so
Right.
that when my team engages, I'm ready.
Right. Right.
Whereas with Diva, I feel like often, like if I sort of go around and sort of take a wider off angle or more of an off angle, like by the time I get there, my team has already sort of engaged and lost
Makes sense. Makes sense. With
the
Tracer, it's
fight.
a little bit more mechanically demanding, but a little bit simpler to understand what you need to be doing.
Yes, exactly.
Makes sense.
Um, and I think I also just sort of got a little bit, and I also sort of burnt out on playing Diva,
That's a
especially
big
like
one.
in solo.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the ultimate goal is to have fun.
Exactly.
And if you're not having fun, then you need to find what's going to be fun or you need to do something else. So makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. So mostly Tracer now. Obviously, round two. So even though you've swapped heroes, the overall
Yep.
training structure, mentality, all that kind of stuff is pretty much exactly the same. So do you have any questions from last time now that you've had some time to play Tracer, Diva, grind a little bit? Do you have any questions about training structure, mentality, practice quality, anything like that?
No,
Okay.
I think that all of that is very applicable and has
Yes.
not really changed
Okay,
much.
perfect. Well, that simplifies things. Do you have any other questions or anything else you want to go over before we hop into some gameplay?
Um, no, there is one thing that I sort of was hoping to have a replay for, but I didn't, that I'd like to maybe talk about or think about at some point. Um, is that with Tracer, sort of one of the cases where I sort of feel most unsure about how to provide value to my team is when the enemy team has a very effective dive squad of like one or two heroes that seems to be sort of completely disrupting my team. For
Okay.
example, there was one game that I was hoping to send you for my, one time replay review thing, but it was right before the patch. So I didn't
Ah.
get it.
Yeah, and the
But
patch wasn't even normal. Like it was like on a Wednesday or something. It was weird. I
yeah,
was not
exactly.
expecting
And
it.
so the there was a case where there was like a ball that was just completely disrupting my team, and like three or four of the enemy players were sitting on point on Koth, but the ball was just being completely disruptive so that no more than like one or two of my team was ever making it to point. And like I feel like sort of my sort of go-to thing to do in that point is I should be, pressuring the I should be uh, pressuring the back line to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that they can't assist the ball and
Right.
let the rest of my team 4v1. But when they're sort of losing that 4v1 and being and never making it to point, like I feel like there's never a time where the timing
I
part
see
of
what you're
it
saying. Yes.
comes
Yes.
into play. And if I try and pressure, then I just get killed. And if I just sit there waiting for them, then nothing happens. And
Here,
then,
here's some advice. Here's some advice for that. So let me stream. So this is the enemy backline, let's say here, right? And this
yeah,
is your backline. And that ball is just going in over and over and over again on your back line. So here's what you need to do, okay? Two ways of looking at it. Either you take your flank, and while you're setting up your flank onto the back line, that ball takes the exact same flank, and you're like, oh crap, we run into each other. If that happens, you can fight the ball right there. Because you do pretty good damage to him. You got to be careful. He can do damage to you as well, but it's okay to do that because that's how you can kind of protect your backline. You shoot the ball when you run into him. However, if the ball does something like this, or just runs in right into your team, you going backwards isn't really going to change that much. It's too far away from you. It's too inconvenient, right? It's going to cost you blinks in time. So what I would do is I would do what you were saying there, which is just to keep the backline and prevent them from following up. Now, you're saying, oh, like my team is not able to win that 4v1. That might be, but more often than not, that's going to be the correct play. And even if that game is totally lost because my team is garbage, the ball's killing everybody, fine. It's still practicing you controlling backline. You're still getting aim practice. You're still getting movement practice and dodging cooldowns and timing practice, right? You're still getting what you want out of the game. It's just not going to be a win. That's all.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's very helpful. Because, like, if I have the experience that if I did come back to help with the ball, that, like, it often, like, wouldn't change anything.
Right.
Like, the ball would be, just sort of driving through everybody and then going out and getting a pack. And I couldn't get through his shields. And, like, then it was just 1v5 and
here's what you're gonna be. You're gonna be like one of those old British nobles going to the guillotine, or the French nobles going to the guillotine. You're gonna lose your head either way, so you might as well look good doing it. Just have some like the fight's again, it's over, it's lost, so you might as well do the right thing, even if it doesn't matter right now, because in the future it's gonna be the practice that you want, right? Okay. Yeah, I mean it definitely sucks though.
Yeah, that's very helpful because I wasn't completely sure if that was the right thing.
If you run into anybody on the way, on your angle, you can fight them. But otherwise, don't go out of your way to peel back on them because it takes too long and it costs you too many resources to do it.
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Do you want to do some replay reviews, look at some replay codes?
Yes, that would be great. I sent you the first one.
All right, let me get this pulled up here really fast.
Arriving at watch point Gibraltar, ready for battle.
So I'm going to restart stream. It might be kind of weird. You might not be able to see it. If you can't see the stream restarted, click on my face or your face at the top of the Discord, and then you should be able to see the stream on the side to the left, I think.
Oh, okay. I see watch stream. Yes.
Let me know when you're in.
I am in.
Okay. Yeah, it's a bit awkward, but okay. So Tracer, what have you been working on with Tracer? Because obviously you probably have a pretty good idea of how you should approach learning as a whole since your D.Va review. So have there been anything that you've been working on with Tracer? Mostly just kind of playing and getting the feel of the hero.
So the three things that I've sort of been focusing on are sort of the big three: timing, angle, and pressure. Like honestly, those three have been plenty to keep me
yeah. It's like how do you learn how to fly? Well, you just flap your wings really hard and float the sky. It's that simple, right? Well, it's kind of hard, to do that right. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
How's that been going?
It's been going well. I feel like I've been trying to get better at doing like intentional practice and picking one of those things and focusing on it. I feel like that's been getting sort of better slowly. I still sometimes either just forget to pick one to focus before a game, or sort of lose track of it.
Classic happens.
But I'm getting better, and also I feel like sort of just playing Tracer, like when I'm just like, especially when I'm sort of focused, even if it's not on one of those, like those sort of are developing naturally fairly well, that it sort of just fits that they're sort of becoming automatic in a way that I can get some benefit just from like playing um, just playing focused and
Yeah.
asking myself, what should I be doing right now?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's the best question you could be asking yourself, right? It's like, especially with the new heroes, what should I be doing right now? Because right now you're lucky, you're new to a hero. So technically everything that you do is learning. You don't necessarily have to focus on positioning and timing. I mean, it will be helpful. But just everything that you do, every action that you take is brand new. Now what's gonna happen is over time, you're gonna get more comfortable with the hero. And that's when it's really important to start pushing yourself a little bit more. What directions, what specific things do I need to be working on? For right now, you just being generally focused and engaged in your play is the most important thing. But as you get better overall, a few weeks, a few months, then you're going to need to be very specific about what about your play needs to get better. And I think that's especially true. Like if you were to go back to D.Va or a hero that you're more comfortable with or you have more time on, you would have to push yourself a little bit harder to make progress because a lot of the very, very basics you've learned and you can do automatically. But with Tracer right now, you're not there yet. So you could just play the game and get better. However, at some point, like you said, you are going to start asking yourself the question of what should I be doing? And hopefully we can kind of accelerate that process right now.
yeah. And
Okay.
then sort of from a very sort of micro perspective of like taking 1v1s, like when I'm focusing more on picks than pressure, like I feel like the things that like when I'm really focused, I do a decent, like I'm getting steadily better at, but I definitely just have complete moments where I just forget. And that is don't stand there in front of them, like making sure I'm blinking behind them, or I'm using cover, because those have a just a huge increase in value, especially against like a Hanzo or an Ana or Cassidy that can just basically blow me up from the front. But from behind, and also just sort of going in, like trying to take a 1v1 where there are other people around that I'm not aware
Right,
of, or
right.
trying to take a 1v1 and it's sort of getting drawn out a little bit, and then other people helping without me realizing it when I should have
Of course.
backed out
Of course.
and had it be pressure instead of picks.
Exactly, exactly. No understanding each situation. Okay. Yeah. I feel like the names in this lobby are like some 1950s cartoon. You've got Lucky Lefty, Soda Pop, and Coco Larry, you know. All we're missing now is Big Jim and I'm trying to think of what's another good one. Twisty Thomas or something like that. I don't know. Okay, let's just see what we got. On and off angle. Little tip here. And here's what's gonna happen is we're gonna give you some tips along the way.
Yep.
You have an off angle here, and you're fighting at a good timing. However, there's a better position on the map for you to do this.
In the room to my right.
You can start on high ground in Gibraltar. And utilize something along these lines right here. There's a mega in here, a mini back here, and you can also peek your supports like here and get healing as well, or even up here. Yeah, so I like what you're doing, but this is where you're showing a little bit of an experience because you're doing the right thing, but you don't know the best way to do it, if that makes any sense. The best way to position yourself. Good. Lots of damage, lots of pressure, because you could see you're getting a little antsy because it's like I'm not really shooting anything but Zarya in the face, you know. But to be fair, there's nowhere really else for you to go. Now this is pretty good, right? Because now you got some backliners. Good blink here. Good. Good. Nice. Nice. You know, this is great. You're doing a good job.
Right.
Okay, your Mercy's helping you out. This is all good. Good pulse bomb. Here, now you don't have your recall here, so I want you to play a little bit more careful. Yeah, this is good. This is good. I wanted you to get out and like hide and maybe grab a Meg and play cover. That's the big thing here. Good. Good. Oh, just a little slow in the recall. one thing to consider here, what would be the best position for you to be right now? Think very carefully, because where you're at right now, by the way, is fine, but there's a slightly better position right now. If you can think of it.
The high ground with the best, the map.
Blink to here, contest the back.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't think I think about that
Yeah.
staircase.
Because
yeah.
I had a tracer review the other day with the top 500 tracer just yesterday, and we talked a lot about how we don't like the tracer sandwich. Okay, and what the tracer sandwich means is when you take an off angle and you push somebody, but because if you don't kill them fast, do you see how you're sandwiched between 3 people right now? You got the BAP on your right, the Moira on your left, the Hanzo here, and the reason why that's a problem is first off, you're a very fragile hero. So you could die to things that you don't even see, right? The BAP could just shoot you right now. If this BAP is a little bit better, he just shoots you 1 clip and you're dead. The other problem is because you don't see what's shooting you on your screen, sometimes it's hard to judge how much danger that you're in. That's why you don't recall here. You probably didn't even think that the Moira was shooting you. Or you did and you just weren't really paying attention because you're focused on Hanzo. So what happens is you put yourself in the middle of 2 people and you die to the person that you don't see. And I don't care if the roles are reversed. If you were chasing the Moira and the Hanzo would here and the Hanzo just shot you in the head or the back, right? Same thing would have happened. Don't be a tracer sandwich. Instead, take an angle here and either just keep shooting from here. Don't push. Just keep shooting, keep shooting, keep shooting. Stay on the outside. Or wrap around behind and shoot the Batiste from behind.
Yes.
That way you have everything that's a threat to you on your screen and you're still shooting an off angle and you're still shooting squishies. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So what you could do is you can always ask yourself, what did I die to something on my screen? If not, was this a mistake? And I think the answer is yes. I mean, that's why you don't recall here. It's because you didn't even see the Moira. And you didn't see the Moira because your angle wasn't perfect. Now, that being said, this looks pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think the overall positioning is pretty good. The movement was pretty good. Your aim is not too shabby either.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Now here you just need to get out. Yep. This is good. This is good. Very strong start so far. Now, again, map knowledge here, right? Very similar to what we talked about in the first fight. Where should you be?
I think maybe in that room on the left, high ground.
So here's what you do. Zoom, zoom, zoom. And then from here, off angle here, blink to here, off angle here, or as you said, off angle here, off angle here, off angle. Where are we at? I've lost it. Okay. Off angle. Okay, there we go. Off angle here, right? Yeah, exactly. Anywhere from that side is great. But you got to see where you're not sure, and so you end up here, right? I know you know that this is bad, but you didn't know what the alternative was.
Yeah.
And so therefore you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So that's something what I would do is anytime you feel that in a match, try to make a mental note. I don't know, I felt terrible. So then go back in either the replay code or just pull out the custom game and run around in an empty map and try to find out where you would have gone instead. Because when I asked you the question, you came up with an answer. But obviously I'm not going to be here for every single map, so you need to try and practice that. Even here, this is fine, but you can also wrap here. You can also roll out with your team on top right and blink through to here. And then even deeper to here. And then drop to here, right? So where you're at here is fine. But, yes, thank you. This is a little bit better. And you could also, there might also be times where going top right would be better. Nice work. Nice. Setting up. I love it. Very patient, very patient, very patient, very patient. Not giving away your positioning. And then now you can fight. Why? What are you seeing?
Because my Orisa is engaged.
Even your soldier's shooting a little bit, right? It doesn't feel like it, but this is far. He's just he's not a sniper, but he is shooting here, right? You were gonna say something.
I don't remember. I don't think it was important.
Okay. I mean, obviously, I would say one detail here. You don't need to chase the Moira. I guess you were avoiding the Sojourn E, maybe. Maybe, I don't know if that was on purpose. But you could also off-angle from here, too, right? we can drop to here. And don't also keep in
That's
mind you have this door here, which now, thanks to the rework, allows you to go here.
Uh-huh.
You see? So
Uh-huh.
this is all fine though. The only thing I'd actually say is I wouldn't blindly drop here. You could stand
Yeah.
here and you could do pretty decent damage at this range right here.
Okay, that's good to know, because I feel like this sort of blind drop, as you say, is something that often gets me more killed
Mhm.
when I shouldn't, because there is either somebody like in the doorway, like out of
Mhm.
sight,
Mhm.
or I just end up in the middle of their team.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, exactly. No tracer sandwiching, right? Now, this is hard because you're obviously at a terrible range right now. Way too far away. But what's the problem with your cooldown status right now?
no recall.
So what would you do if you had recall here?
That's a good question.
What should you do?
I feel like either dropping like behind this blue crate there and sort of aiming for the back line, or sort of
Mhm.
dropping over to the right and sort of playing sort of those
Yeah.
yellow things. Yeah, like
Mhm.
play there
Great.
and
Love it.
where I can pressure this Zarya if she comes forward alone, or wrap it onto the back line,
Perfect.
depending
Perfect. But you don't got your recall.
Yeah.
So what's the play?
on.
And to be clear, I don't think there's a hard rule here. I think that's up to interpretation. So go with what you feel is best.
Honestly, I feel like maybe dropping sort of behind the blue crate and just playing my life, like just
Ooh,
being some
yes. So still putting out pressure from a little bit closer, but not like going in hard because you don't have your recall. Just kind of soft contesting,
right, like
distracting.
maybe poke briefly at the very back, like from far back here, and
Mm.
just ducking back so they know sort of that they're a little bit worried about me, but I'm unlikely um to have to recall and get
Right,
out, because I've
right.
got my blinks and I can just blink back. Like
Mhm.
none of them is going to be able to, like only the Sojourn can really close the distance, and if she's coming back and diving me, I just blink out sort of
Right.
back towards their spawn, and
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
fine.
Exactly. Let's see what you do. So here it's like, I think this is just a little bit too aggressive, right? Just a little bit too aggressive. Maybe it would be okay if you had recall, but then the problem is then you get a little bit too aggressive, you get scared, and then now you're out of the fight, when really you should just be if you had dropped here, you could have shot and shot and shot and shot and shot and done more damage without risking your life as much. Seems okay. I think maybe I would have, instead of pushing this way, what should you have done instead?
Push to the right of that turbine.
Right. Either shoot here or shoot here. Oh, look at these guys. Do you see them?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, obviously they're not always going to be that low, but it's just a better angle for you.
It
means
is.
that you don't
Like,
have
it
to do
felt-
tracer sandwich, right? Just a
Yeah.
little bit.
It felt like a long distance to cross.
It sure did. And also, you see it, right?
Yeah.
There's
There's the Tracer sandwich, and
there's a
it's
Tracer
also going into Hanzo and Bao sort of from the
Mhm.
front where they're gonna see me.
Exactly. Now, is the tracer sandwich is okay sometimes if this Hanzo is 1 HP, you just go bam and you recall out, right? Totally fine
Yeah.
to finish kills, but you don't want to stay here, right? So you rotate out this direction, which is smart, but obviously would have been better to just hold the same.
Right.
period.
I would have had more uptime sort of from
Mm-hmm.
the other direction, and it wouldn't have taken as long.
Mm-hmm. Careful. You got
I
that
have no
mega.
idea where I'm going here, just because I'm
Well,
not
you know,
familiar with the map.
it was a bit messy. Yeah, it's a bit messy. I think you got a little lost in the sauce there. Yeah, that's fine. I think it was okay. Again, like a lot of these details, I think will come out with time, and you're identifying the problems really, really easily. So it's gonna be about applying which you're learning. Okay. So now you gotta be really careful here, not just because Hanzo, but going back to the fundamentals, timing. Where is your Orisa right now? Use your spider senses, right?
Not there. Like my
Right.
team is definitely not engaged.
Definitely not engaged, right? Your Orisa's even walking forward, but she still hasn't been able to catch up with you, so there's a really high risk that you get logged here. No, you're good. Good. I like this angle. Good. I like that we're being a little sneaky here. And then
Yeah.
wrapping. I think we're just a little late. I think what you do is I appreciate what you're trying to do here, but honestly, you could predict that these guys are going to walk forward to about here. So you don't need to keep rotating. Just stay here.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I think I was very aware that the Hanzo was looking at me,
Mm-hmm.
and I think, and I was trying to find another angle, but I agree that like just going back here and just sitting behind cover,
Mm-hmm.
like once my Ariza was engaged, like he's not going to be looking at me so much anymore.
Sure. And just listen. You know, you'll be able to hear through the wall about when's a good time to walk out here and start to pressure people.
Right, exactly.
Right. So you just end up being rather late to the party, because now you wouldn't already like to be engaged now. So to get involved, you had to use 2 blinks, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just already being there. Pulse Som's good though. Really nice angle you got going on here. Zarya turns around, you avoid her. This is good. Your fundamentals of what you're trying to do with this hero are strong. And I appreciate that very much. Alright, let's keep going.
That's one of the things that I really like about Tracer, that I really enjoy, is sort of being able to do this. Whereas with Diva, I just felt torn in several different, in like a couple additional directions, and just
All
just
the off
found
tanks are hard like that.
yes.
All of the off tanks are hard like that, where you feel torn to know exactly what you should be leaning into. It's not myopic. It's very complicated. Again, a situation where I think you underestimate your range just a little bit. I think right here, you could do good damage here on this Moira.
Okay.
Yeah. And it means that you don't have to give up the high ground. So you can shoot, and then now would be a good time for you to rotate around left then, right? And then look for something there. Because this is a little too close. You did a good job causing a distraction. Good. And just remember, gotta play safe now. Doesn't mean you can't engage, you just need to be careful. This is good. Nice. Love this rotation right here. Go get him. Now's a good time for Pulsum. I think you get juked here. They back off and you're like, wait, where are they? You're like, oh crap. If that happens, what do you do? Right now, where do you go?
I mean, I should have backed off and gone back around the other way, I think. Because right now it's sort of a timing issue that
Correct.
my team is not really engaged. Like Orisa kind of, but even she's backed off because of the Myral.
And then you're also the one leading the charge here. So you know, you're only going to be able to stick a Zarya instead of going for like a Bap or a Moira or something like that.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, you Tracer sandwiched, but the Reaper's 1 HP, right? Totally fine. You see what I'm saying? It's worth the risk because the kill's there, you know? That's good. Okay, I don't think they're going to touch, right? That's it. Okay. Nice! Lots of good things to see here. So far, what are you seeing as being some small things that you could adjust to do better?
I mean, avoiding Tracer sandwiches, big thing.
Yep.
Holding the high ground for longer, being comfortable poking from the high ground.
Sure. I wouldn't just say just the high ground. I think it's also a mixture of that. Plus also, I just think you need to think more about some of the maps that you're not comfortable on yet.
Hmm.
You know, because on Gibraltar, it's going to be high ground, right? It's going to be like up here, and then it's going to be like, you know, holding the angle here, or, you know, holding the angle here, or instead of being here, you know, taking the stairs here. Remember, it all had to do with high ground. But on other maps, it might not be high ground. You just need to think more about what are the best off angles that I can set up. Where can I be setting up, right? Because you don't have the experience of this hero net to know the answer, right?
Right, and I think in particular being comfortable like playing from the mid range and poking rather than feeling like I need to do like those blind drops onto the enemy team that we were talking about.
Let's look at the enemy comp a little bit actually here. Do you see their composition? Let's skip forward just a wee bit. Now, what on the enemy composition can poke you out, shoot you at range?
Let's see, the BAP
A little bit, yeah.
a little bit, and the Bastion, like if in tank form or if I'm not sort of like he
Sure.
can, he's
Sure.
not as good as some other people, but
Sure. Sure. Now, who are heroes that you can fight at more of the mid range comfortably
mid range,
on their comp?
I would say the Reaper,
Mhm.
the Zarya I can fight
Mhm,
at
mhm,
mid range as
mhm.
long as I'm prepared to blink back if she
Sure.
starts pushing me, especially with higher energy. And like Moira mid range is
Now, it's interesting. You say Moira at mid range, and you're 100% correct. But why do you think that is? Because obviously she doesn't do more or less damage in distance. It doesn't really matter for her, right? So why would you actively look to fight a Moira at mid range? Look up. You see how hard it is for me to track? I've got no mouse pad here, but you see how hard it is for me to track when I'm like up close and this target's moving?
uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
as soon as I move a little bit further away,
Uh-huh.
right? Very easy to track. Now, why do you think that
Yes.
applies to Moira? If I see where I'm going with this.
Because she's healing semi constantly and it's hard to put enough like sustained damage in to
So the priority is on you to hit your shots, right? It's easy for her to do her damage. It's harder for you to do yours. So what you want to do
Yes.
is you want to make your tracking as easy as you can. If you get too
Yes.
close to a Moira, you might have like a hard time and like miss a lot of shots. But if you keep it like the, that's what we want, right? You're not going to get that, but that's what we want, right? So
Yes.
getting too close to a Moira, like it's a Zenyatta, I want to mess up the Zenyatta shots. No, there's no point, right? It's a Moira. So instead, make it as easy as you can. Don't get too close. Don't get too close. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think like in my mind that also applies to Hanzo because I feel like it's easier for him to just get a log off at like very close range or use his
Sure.
you know his,
It's
his
complicated
5
for sure.
arrows, his storm
Yeah.
arrows, no, whatever.
Sure. It's,
Um,
it's definitely. You would never want to play a Hanzo at long range, but
Right, exactly.
maybe a
It's-
mid range. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. So like what you can see here is you can look at the enemy composition and make a decision about how do I want to position, what angles do I want to take versus these guys, right? Okay. Any questions before we keep going?
No.
A little of the tracer sandwich, a little bit of the map knowledge, a little of the high ground. Let's see. Now, off angle. And timing is okay. Maybe a little bit early, but it's okay. But I want you to think of some other creative ways to get value out of Tracer here. Let's say they're all on high ground here. All right, what would you have done?
I feel like sort of setting up to push high ground once my team is more engaged.
Where would you push the high ground?
So my sort of default go-to is this staircase right here.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Yep. What other options do you have?
I think like the other option would be sort of this hallway sort of over sort of the center of the map, sort of behind them. Yeah, I feel like ideally that I would sort of set up there like, oh, this is attack. So I'm not sure how to get there effectively without them sort of seeing me. Like I could just walk up those stairs, but
Another one
They're-
you can
they're-
do is coming up through here,
Uh-huh.
blinking across to here, and then
Uh-huh.
wrapping this way. Setting
So
up
is
in the
there a
back line.
staircase in the back of that
is.
room? Okay, that's good to know about.
Right
'Cause,
there.
like just staging right here or in the room across to the other
Mhm.
side.
Mm-hmm.
Both same.
Another angle you can take on some escort maps like these is if your team was trying to push high ground, you can push cart for them because you're basically self-sufficient. But okay, let's see. This is fine though. This is good. He looks at you. I would grab the mini right here before you push high ground.
Yeah.
I mean, she just lasers you, to be honest with you.
Yeah, exactly. That's it's,
Oof. That's tough. That's okay.
yeah.
Wrap left. Right? Set up that off angle again. I know it is a little bit discouraging with the result, but the setup was fine. You just need to execute on it a little bit better. Good. Thank you. Gotta go. See, the problem is that you're setting up now, but now it's a little bit late, right? This
Yes.
fight is already going, and then now you're setting up. That's why you need to try and set up ahead of time, at least a little bit, so that you're not late, that you're already engaged right now. Because your
Yes.
Rissa's gold, well, your Rissa's about to pop fortify. And so
Yep.
you're going to be on a timer with when you can actually do things. And it's now.
Yes,
And
and I
you're-
feel like that's also sort of a recurring thing. It's just taking a little bit too long to set up or
Mhm.
not setting up enough ahead of time.
Right. Because you're doing fine damage here. Doing great damage. We just would have liked to have been here earlier.
Right.
This is great. But, you know, this is the funnest thing about Tracers. When you have a good off angle and they're not putting a lot of attention on you, you just shoot, and you shoot, and you shoot, and you shoot, and you shoot over and over and over and over again. Nice. Nice. Oh, unfortunate. You kind of went by yourself, but I understand. The Bastion ult was going, the Mercy was one. It's okay. Everything in Overwatch is a rule that's sometimes broken. The key thing is to understand the rules well enough to know when you can break them. Because you're not actually really fighting by yourself right now. You're fighting with a Bastion. You kind of see what I'm saying? You're fighting with a Bastion ult, and even a little bit of Orisa. So that's why you almost get this kill. The Ana heals are at just the right time. Because you're fighting with Bastion ult. But now that the Bastion ult
I
is...
think I should not have gone back in right
yes,
there.
Yes. But this is okay. It's understandable. What you could have done here... Well, you tell me.
Yeah, I mean, back up into that room behind me.
And by the way, do you know why you get slept here? Tracer sandwich.
Yeah.
You got slept by something you didn't see.
Yep.
Go back left. Or wrap right. I know you're like thinking Nano Orisa, but you can't do anything to a Nano Orisa, right?
Yep.
So just let your team try to survive, and you punish them, the enemy team. You are in serious danger. Now you see this. You're legitimately worthless.
Yep.
You've done nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't let the chaos of the mid fight force you to group up with your team.
Yeah. I think I was sort of going for a pulse bomb, but that was not
easy to do a pulse bomb from an angle, right?
Yeah.
More targets than a Nano Orisa.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think?
It sort of. I would say the rest of them are engaged, so it is sort of a 1v1.
Sure, looks okay to me. Looks okay to me.
Yeah.
Now, here's the question though: is this the best angle that you could take right now? Because the problem is not usually are you taking angle, but is it the best angle?
Yeah, I think sort of the angle sort of down from the camera that we were looking at
Like over
before.
here?
Yeah, I think that angle,
Mm-hmm.
or further sort of to the left, even sort of.
Watch this. Roll out high ground, and then you could sit from here.
Oh,
And then because you can do the little whole staging through here. You could even roll out here, and then do your little jump here, right? And then you can choose your target. right?
Yes.
That's another good one if you have the time to. This is fine though. Keep shooting. Keep, like, right now you need to be shooting, right? You have your recall, you have 2 blinks, your team is engaged, shoot. Damage. You're waiting too long. You're hiding too long. When you have an off angle, you have your recall and you have full HP and your team is engaged, shoot. Shoot, 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 shoot. Keep shooting. Could be Orisa, could be Soldier, doesn't matter. Just shoot him. Nice. Huge Orisa plays. That Soldier's trying to be sneaky. I like this position. This is good. See, another thing you could do from here. Watch this. Blink, blink. Take this up here. And then you could take this off angle here. You see?
Yeah, I like that.
Because you're kind of like, I don't know what to do here, right? Get onto this. There you go. But you can get onto the nose of the ship, I believe. I might. I'll check it after this review stuff to make sure. But that way you could be sneakier setting up on her.
Yep. And also, like, that the nose of the ship is harder to push for most characters. Like, I don't think Orisa can get, like, up on the nose.
It's very, very difficult for her to. Oh dear. Nice, 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 nice.
I should have gone to get a health pack.
Yeah, over here in the Mega. Yeah. Again, this is just why the high ground just feels a lot better because there's the minis and there's the megas. But yeah, I think this is fine. Ah, unfortunate. Okay. Get on your roll up. High ground.
Yeah.
Then
absolutely.
Wrap right. Then you're cooking.
Yes.
Ana, mini health backline, so much easier than this right here. This feels so scary, right?
Yeah.
And most of it, I think, is just map knowledge. I think you're trying to do the right thing, you just don't know the map well enough to do it. And so that's where it's really important that you take the time to load into maps to figure out where you could be positioned.
That makes sense. Especially on Tracer, where it's so important to know where the health packs are. Like, I just have no idea where the ones that aren't, like, in the... Like, I know the one in the ship, and I know the one that's just on the side below me there, but, like...
Good. Unfortunate. Good. No recall, so be careful. Huge. Nice. Now. Cool. I'm fine with this. Good. Wait for that healing station to end. Now you forced the healing station without really doing anything. This is fine. You can also take this angle again once they've left it and go from here as well. Shouldn't have needed to use your recall there if you played that one better.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yes, and then now you just damage, right? Damage, 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 damage. Good try in the pulse. Unfortunate, a little bit slow in the blinks, but you guys should win this one. Yeah, you do. Okay, I'm going to make sure that you can make that jump before I tell you that's the right thing there.
Yeah, let's do it.
But this is where... this is where getting a lot of practice in. Just picking a map that you're like, I don't know how to play that map. Well, go try it out. I think you should be able to go. Yeah, two blinks. There you go.
Yep, makes sense.
There you go.
I like it.
Alrighty, do you want to look at another code, or you want to do some live coaching? We've got a little over 15 minutes. Up to you.
Oh, sure. We could do a little bit of live coaching.
All right, let's do it. If you can stream Overwatch on your end, we should be good to go.
Let's see. So it's... I open up Overwatch first.
And then on the Discord, it will have, like, at the bottom left say something like Overwatch 2 and a little TV screen next to it once you pull it up.
Overwatch 2. Doing Death Spiral. Live?
Yeah, got it. Let's queue up. Are you warm?
Not really, but that's fine.
Okay, well, maybe we can get some deathmatch while you're in queue. So just ready up, and then jump in their deathmatch here. Now, I was going to talk to you about this earlier. So, one of the things that you can do while you're in deathmatch is you can work on your movement. You can work on your trigger discipline. Have you heard me talk about trigger discipline before?
I've heard you talk about it.
Brilliant.
It's not something that I'm very...
Well, this is where you could practice it, because when you're in the middle of a match, you're thinking about a million things, right? You don't have time to think about your mechanics necessarily. So,
Yeah.
practice your trigger discipline right now. Or your movement, or anything. Your blink melees, whatever you want. So you could use your warm-up not only as like warm-up, you know, but also you could be practice like a drill to practice certain things.
Yeah. That makes sense.
By the way, you can spacebar to skip the kill cam faster. What skill do you want to practice during your warm-up now?
Let's practice trigger discipline, because I
Alright.
feel like, especially against the Genjis,
Oh, yeah.
makes a big difference. Like 1v1ing Genjis is one of the harder ones for me. Like other tracers, I feel like I'm okay against, but Genjis, there's a Genji behind me.
There she is, oh boy. Anything with a tough to hit hitbox, right? Could have paused halfway through that clip to realign, right? So pause, reset. Yeah, that was it right there. That was it right there. You died, but that at the end was what you wanted to practice, right? Spacebar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Saves you a few seconds.
Yeah.
For the ADD brain, you know. All right.
Yeah.
That was it there. That was it. That was close. She just was off your screen. Yeah, that's it right there. Good.
Yeah, there's junk
Good.
over here.
Yeah, nice. Good. That was good. That was much better. Yeah, keep practicing that. Get it to where it's done naturally. Because one of the misconceptions about trigger discipline is that it's something that once your aim gets better, you don't need to do, but it's completely false. Because as you get better aim, the people are going to get better movement, right? And like the best Overwatch League tracers, the best tracers in the world have really good trigger discipline. Because when you're playing at the Overwatch League level, everybody moves like they're like the freaking ninjas in every hero, right? 80-80 strafing and stuff. So like you got to be really disciplined. Guy's good.
Yeah. Also, I was hitting him from the front and didn't have a lot of blinks.
Yeah, that's fine. You didn't make him turn around. Yeah, that's fine.
Is that a widow I hear?
It's good practice to go against people better than you, because you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this guy's hitting all these shots, and then you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this game is so easy once you get to your actual ranked game, you know?
Yeah.
I used to practice against like Grandmaster Genjis and Tracers when I was playing Ana and Zen. That's funny. That's where if you trigger discipline, you kill that Cassidy.
Yeah.
If you to
that
realign
makes
that
sense.
crosshair, because you got caught at a reload right at the worst time possible.
Yeah.
Right there, you know? I'm surprised DPS queues are so long at this rank.
Yeah, it's not usually quite this long. I don't.
That's fine. It's fine. Even if we just get half a round or half a dozen team fights, that's still good.
Yeah, honestly, even just doing the the death match is not.
Yeah, true. It's good practice.
It's not bad. It's
Yep. You'll find the best thing that you can do versus really good hit scans like that is your 80-80 strafing.
Okay.
Not something that we're working on right now, obviously, but like down the road as you get better, it's something that you'll want to put some time into. Because Tracer's hitbox is tough. She also leans a little bit when she strafes, so she can be a really tough target to hit if you move well. Nice. This is really good, mate. Nice! Congrats. Good job. That's another tough hitbox right there. Oh, yeah, all right. All right.
Yeah, Annas are definitely one of those heroes that's deceptively hard to 1v1.
Yeah, 2 shots, right?
Yep, and especially like if you're trying to 1v1 in the back line, that's another one that I can sometimes not pull out fast enough and sort of give up on going for a pick.
Right, but at least that you're still getting the distraction value even if you don't get the pick, like you said, the pressure instead of the pick.
Right, but I have to remember to actually pull back and not
tunnel on the kill.
Right, exactly.
Yep, I got you. And so, what we want to practice here, or at least what I want you to practice for this game, is I want you to think about what's the best angle or flank that I can take. Because again, this is probably a map you probably don't have a lot of experience with. So, think about it.
Yeah, so I can either stage sort of in that room to the left on the high ground, or like all the way around on the right, like at the bow of the ship.
Sure. So think about your positioning before the fight starts, like right now. Think about it, go ahead. Yeah. And then once the fight starts, think no tracer sandwich. That's what we want to practice.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to start because most people roll out high ground, so I'm thinking I'm going to start.
Now you're good. Just don't think just think no tracer sandwich.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I can live with that. You tried, he just snuck up on you.
Yeah.
It's funny though that the one time you die is because tracer sandwich, right?
Yeah.
That was sneaky. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. All right, so right now, think where. So you don't want to go in now.
Yeah.
Fight's lost.
Yeah.
So where do I want to set up? What's the best angle?
I'm going to wait for my team to come back a little bit, and I think I'm going to set up high left again.
Works for me.
I think the Reaper is actually set up even.
He's definitely in there. Yeah. Good.
That's a tracer sandwich, I think.
Yeah, I think you could have just stayed in that room and shot either Reaper or Brig. That's okay. Keep playing. Keep shooting. Good. This is nice.
I don't think I have enough cover.
Yeah, but this is good. Keep shooting. Keep shooting. It's okay. Keep shooting. Good. Wrap around the other flank. Nice. Keep shooting. This is great. You got her. You got her. Go for it. Ah, it's okay. That was good. That was honestly a nice fight. I think the only thing there would have been, once you remember when you took the left again, you blinked through them like you said in a tracer sandwich instead of just holding that angle and shooting Reaper Brig. That would have been better. But after that happened, you went to the opposite side of the map and you put out a lot of pressure. You put out a lot of pressure. That was good. Very nice. Okay, thinking setup again here. Do you know which one this is? I think this is the, yeah, this is the ugly one. The one with a high ground above point, right?
Yeah. So usually I try and roll out sort of on on the high ground looking, but usually they're rolling like and hoping to like blink through.
Yeah, but they'll roll out high ground too, so then it gets ugly.
Right, exactly. I'm less familiar with how to roll out like
So try
on
something
the.
else. Just try something else. See what happens.
All right,
Experiment a little bit. Use a blink.
So high ground is on the right.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with making mistakes. Use another blink.
Yep. Oh, I should have blinked through there maybe.
That's fine. Keep going. Keep going.
Oh yeah, I like this. There's a.
So start shooting. Start shooting on that ash. There you go. So, good idea, but you took too long to take the angle. What I want you to do is, if you get a chance later, pull this map up in a custom game and blink around. You'll find a faster way to get there.
Okay.
There's a much faster way to get there. And a way that you can get closer to. That doesn't mean that you're so far away.
Yep.
Now, if they're on the floor, maybe the high ground's free. Oh, this Reaper's marking you. Oh, he's looking for
Oh,
you.
he really is.
Yeah, he's really chasing you. To be fair, your team still wasn't quite there, but yeah.
Yeah, like I wasn't even trying to engage there yet. I was just trying
just
to
setting
figure
up.
out where they were.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Alright, chill.
I'm just gonna let her die.
This Reaper's definitely heard you. Okay. Let's set up. Still winnable.
I was looking for somewhere to blink out.
Your team got rolled. Okay, so last fight.
So I feel like the Ash is sort of the best
Yeah, best target.
target if I can find a way.
Nice. Shoot, 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 shoot. Close.
Oh, there's the Ash.
This is a perfect game where as soon as this game's over, we'll end the call. I want you to go into a custom game and find keep resetting the match if you need to until you get this particular point. Then go run around just for 2 minutes. Find how you should have set up. Get an idea so the next time you get this match or this map, excuse me, you know exactly how you want to roll out them. But I think the first round, that fight towards the end, really nice. That was exactly what we wanted. Took a nice off angle, timed it well, kept good use of cover, continued to pressure. That was really, really good. Okay. Do you have any questions? Let's make a short list of things to work on. But do you have any questions first?
No.
Okay. So, Tracer, what do you need to work on? What were the big things that we talked about?
So the big things that we talked about are Tracer Sandwich.
Tracer Sandwich, which is what?
It being sort of in the middle of 2 or 3 people who are looking at me. So often I end up getting shot from behind from somebody I don't see. Do you want more than that? Is there a specific?
No, that's fine. That's just something I want something to be memorable for you. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be able to stick in your head, so it's easy to act upon in the middle of a fight, right? Okay. What else?
Being less willing to sort of give up good positions on the periphery, like on Gibraltar. I'm thinking about those high ground positions where I drop down to engage, but you suggested, and I agree, that it would have been better to poke from up on the high ground.
Mm-hmm. And then the last one, which was what we talked about just at the end of that last VOD review, what do you need to be doing?
Sort of knowledge.
Let's work on the map knowledge, rollouts, angles, apply the theory. That's the key thing. I
Yes.
think you have a good fundamental understanding of the hero. So now you need to go out and actually apply that. And that applies to your mechanics as well. So I think with mechanics, use warm up as a practice tool for something like movement, dodging, trigger discipline, link melees, pulses, etc. Whatever you feel like practicing, and then that way you get not only a warm up, but you get a little bit of extra mechanical practice at the same time. Okay,
Makes sense.
sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, mate. Well, keep in touch. You have